Hello, this is Callie Collins, Chief Product Officer for Optimality, and today I'm going to be talking about team and user permission levels, as well as how to use teams to grant access to your endeavors. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go over the pyramid of the three different levels of teams. The first level is your organization team. Every organization or tenant has a single team that grants users access to that tenant. A tenant you can think of as your environment that is firewalled off from any other user's environments. So it's what keeps your data secure and keeps you working within that single environment. Giving somebody access to the organization team does not automatically grant them access to any of the endeavors or any of the data that is contained within those endeavors. Moving on to the endeavor teams, this is what's controlling access to the endeavors. An endeavor could be a project, development effort, or even an employee interest group. This is a way to group your attributes, your artifacts that you are working on into separate goals so that you can manage separate access to those areas. When an endeavor is created, a single endeavor team is also automatically created. That endeavor team is what can be used for commitment planning as well. So that would be tagging any activities to a team so that you can know what teams are working together on what types of activities. Underneath an endeavor team can be multiple subteams, and each subteam is created within the endeavor. Those subteam permissions override your endeavor team permissions. So an example of that, if a user is added as a viewer to the endeavor team, they're able to see the activities, tasks, content, and other data that has been added to that endeavor. However, as a viewer, they are not able to have edit access and they are not able to make changes to anything in that endeavor. We'll go over that more on the next slide. But if they are a contributor on a subteam, they can add and status activities that are tagged to that subteam. So if that subteam is added as the responsible team on an activity, those members are now able to status those activities, but they only have access to status the activities that are tagged to that subteam because they only have that viewer level access on the Endeavor team. We'll go over that in some more examples as well. A subteam can also be used for commitment planning, just as an Endeavor team can. All activities must have a team assigned. That way we know who has access and permission to be able to status that activity and make any other changes to it, as well as what team is working on progressing that activity to its completion. It can be either an Endeavor team or a sub-team. And when a new activity is created, the Endeavor team is assigned to it by default unless it is changed by a user. Now let's get into the different user levels. We have admin user levels as well as end user levels. A user could be both an admin and an end user, or they could be just an admin or just an end user. We also have non-user resources, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. For the different levels of admin user, those are set at the organization team level. So the organization admin or admins, that is the person or people that are responsible for billing, adding or removing users from the organization team. They're able to turn on or off certain features or domains, such as user-to-user chat or content, and they manage the APIs into the external task tools. There is also a second level of organization admin for data and libraries. You may choose to have this to be a separate person, or it could be the same person as your organization admin. The data admin for the organization level has write access to the organization's standard process library. They have right access to the organization's master data fields at that organization level. And they are also able to manage the organization's team or crew calendar library at that organization level. All of those items, when an endeavor is created, are able to be copied into the endeavor and then further customized. So for the endeavor levels, we have the endeavor admin. They are able to manage membership, including adding or removing users from the endeavor, and they are able to do permission levels for all the teams, including the subteams, even if they are not specifically added as an admin on a subteam. They are also the only ones who can delete the endeavor. Just as we have at the organization level, we also have the endeavor data or library admins. These are the people that are able to have right access to customize that organization's standard data lists to be endeavor specific. And just as we saw, they can have right access to the endeavors level standard process library, the endeavors level master data fields, and the endeavors level crew and team calendars. For an example on that, there can be master data or metadata fields that are added at the organization level. There could be something that is chosen to be standard across all endeavors for the organization. An example on that for a construction project might be a discipline. So we have a concrete, we have civil, we have piping, we have architectural. Those could be something that's set at the organization level. Now, when there is an endeavor, they may choose to copy that standard list into the endeavor, but perhaps they want to split their above ground and underground pipe for that specific endeavor. So they're able to do that. We also have admins for those subteams that defaults to the person who created the subteam, and they have permission to manage membership of that subteam. Moving into the end user levels, those are set at the team level. So you can have admins at each of the different team levels, as we discussed. Those are in the left column. And then the main team levels that you're going to have for permission is a moderator. If you're a moderator, you can create tasks and activities, upload content, you can delete any content or activities. You can also status those content and activities and tasks. So you're pretty much given right access to anything that's in that endeavor. If you are a contributor, you do have right access. You can create tasks and activities and upload content, but you're only able to delete or status content, tasks, and activities that you've either created and uploaded, or status those activities that are assigned to you as your team being the responsible team for the activity or content. For a viewer, you can think of that as read-only access. They are not able to write any content or activities, and they can only view. They are not able to status either. I want to go ahead and note as well that if you are using a version of Optimality that has themes, all users are able to create, edit, and delete their own personal themes. Plus, all users can create, edit, and delete their own personal saved views for any of the domains that your version of Optimality has access to. Now let's talk a little bit about a non-user resource. This is a way to create a named or unnamed placeholder resource. So this would be adding somebody that does not have access to log into Optimality. They can be created by team admins. They can be added to a team so that way those people or non-user resources, those placeholders, can be added as the responsible member of an activity, task, or content. This is useful in the early stages of planning when a named resource is not yet available. It can also be useful if that named resource perhaps is a third party who will not be getting an account to log into Optimality, but there is still somebody who's wanting to manage what content, tasks, and activities that person is responsible for. At any point, these non-user placeholder resources can be replaced by an actual user by adding an email address and inviting that user into the system. With that, I'm going to go ahead and go into Optimality and give a demo of what this looks like. So I'm here in the Optimality production environment, and I am looking at the endeavors, and I'm going to use this H2O demo project. To access your teams, these are going to be located in Endeavor settings, which can be accessed by clicking your initials. We are looking right now at the teams specific to this H2O project endeavor. We see this bolded team here at the top, this H2O team. These are all of the people that have access to the overall H2O team. You can also see that we've created a few different sub-teams here. We may want to run a different commitment plan and cycle for our civil, concrete, and structural teams than we're wanting to run for our piping, equipment, and E&I team. We also have our engineering and procurement team here as well that wants to be able to manage their own commitment cycles also. When we are creating these H2O teams, this is where we're able to see some different privacy membership levels. These are not yet active in the version of Optimality that we're working at with MVP. They will be available in the future, and at that time, we will update the training. This also gives a list of all of the team members, and you can see their different levels that they have here as well. Coming very soon is also a follower level, so I'll talk to that here for just a moment. What a follower would be is perhaps you have a manager or somebody who is wanting notifications when a commitment plan is started or completed for this team. However, they don't want to be added as a responsible member on any activities, so they're essentially following the team to get the notifications. So that is an option as well. It is another level of access. We can control their levels here, and we can also remove people from the team. If we want to bring new people into the team, we can see here that everybody in the parent team is already a member. I will go ahead and remove somebody here so that we can take a look at what that shows us. So I removed a couple of people, and now when I invite new members, we can see that they are available. So this is showing us that there are people that are part of the organization team who are not yet members of this H2O team. So I'm going to go ahead and add Mikhailo back into our team here. So I will add him in. Okay. And I can save changes here. And I can update the endeavor. And so now I'm going to go ahead and go into our activity flow diagram so that you can see where these are located. And we can see here for any of these activities, we do have the teams. These are the teams that I showed listed previously. And when we click on the responsible member list here, we are able to see all of those people that have access to that team so that I can assign any of these people, perhaps myself, as being the responsible member for this activity. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is going to be the admin panel. So this we are going to be viewing in a mock-up version. It's currently in development. But this is a list that allows users to see who has access to the overall organization. So as we talked earlier, this is the organization team. You're able to quickly see the people, their default calendars, the company that they work for. So something to note on that. So while this might be Optimality's production environment that we were looking at, we are able to invite people from other companies to come in and work in our area and work in our endeavors. So if we want to allow some of our subcontractors or other clients to be able to come in and do that, we are able to do that as well. We're also able to tag what that person's role is. And you're also able to quickly see which endeavors do they have access to. So you can filter on that and understand quickly what people have access to which endeavors. We're able to set what is their status, whether that is an active user or if it's an archived user that no longer has access. And then the organization admin, as we talked earlier, also has the ability to control who has access to the system. So this is where that's going to be controlled as well. So this is the maximum approved access level. So if we are inviting perhaps this civil subcontractor, Liam Carter, here into the system, the admin has said that they at most are allowed to have viewer access on any Endeavor. But some of these others are end users. They are allowed to have whatever level those Endeavor admins choose to give them on the Endeavor teams. We can also see there's an example here of this person having a pending approval that is ready for the organization admin to grant them access and select what their maximum approved access level is. We also have an example here of a non-user resource. So this person is just a general foreman for the piping subcontractor. We don't yet have that person named, but they have been added here. So on this Endeavor SS, they are able to be added as a responsible member, and they're able to be added onto any of those teams. When any of these workspace members are opened up, we're able to see some of the different attributes for those people. This is where we are able to edit their email address. They're able to change the company they're employed by, their default calendar, and their company role. On this, if you are an organization admin, you do have rights to be able to make changes to any users in your organization. However, if you are not an organization admin, you do always have permission to update your own personal email address or any of these other fields related to your individual user profile. This is also a space where you can quickly see all of the teams across all Endeavors that this person has access to and the roles on those teams. And we will also be able to add some new membership here. So instead of going into the Endeavor, opening the team and adding this person, I am also able to, from this view, quickly add this person to any teams that I need to add them to. Moving along, this is an example of one of those non-user resources. So their maximum approved access level is non-user resource. It is noted that this is a non-user resource placeholder, and if you do want to assign this placeholder to a user, you can invite them by using their email address. So if you do type an email address in here, it will allow you to invite a person to take over this placeholder resource, and they will now own that. They will automatically be assigned as the responsible party anywhere they were assigned on the Endeavors, and they can go in and start updating their master data as well. We also note here that yes, an email is required to upgrade a non-user resource into a user. And this is an example of the organization admin receiving a request to approve Sam Lee here. They previously were a viewer and wanting to be upgraded into an end user. They put a reason into here as well. And then that person is able to approve or decline that. And once the organization admin approves it, they do get a little toast message down here that states that they have approved it, or it just confirms that they did deny that access approval. So with that, this is how the teams work and the different permission levels in Optimality. Please comment or reach out if you have any questions or feedback. Thank you.